Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Total War Mod Showcase stream. This series of streams I've been doing lately to showcase the very best and brightest that the Total War modding community has had to offer over the many years it's been a thing that existed. Today we're in old school Rome Total War, not even the remaster, because nobody's made a port of this mod we're playing today for the remaster yet. I really hope they do, though. We're playing a little mod called the Fourth Age. It's a Lord of the Rings mod, but it's not your garden variety Lord of the Rings mod. Oh, no. This one's a little bit special. It was made by a guy who I think went by the name of Master of None on the old Total War Center forums back in the day. He was a prolific mod maker. He made a bunch of other ones too, including Viking Invasion 2 and Norman Invasion. And he also famously made the Fourth Age, I think probably with some help from other folks, but I think a lot of what he did was a one-man effort. I always remember his mods being particularly outstanding because their signature thing was that they actually had voice acting for the new units, which was a bit of a rarity in most Total War mods back then. Anyway, Fourth Age is a Lord of the Rings mod, which is set, as the title would suggest, in the Fourth Age. It is a sequel of sorts to The Lord of the Rings. And it's not completely made up, is the interesting thing. I thought this was common knowledge, but apparently it's not. Basically, I brought it up during the recent Divide and Conquer stream we did, and there are a lot of people who didn't know this, but JRR Tolkien actually started writing a sequel to The Lord of the Rings. I think it was called The New Shadow or something. He wrote, I think there's like one chapter that he actually wrote, and you can read it. I think it's available somewhere for you to read. And he decided not to continue it in the end. He didn't feel like the whole concept really lived up to his lofty expectations, and for reasons best known to himself, he decided to just can the whole thing rather than trying to make it work. However, it offered a tantalizing glimpse into the future of Middle-earth after the end of The Lord of the Rings, and the creators of this mod really picked that up and ran with it, and created something rather interesting. The New Shadow is approximately 13 pages long, according to Dr. Fat. Well, there you go. It's not a long read. It's probably worth checking out. But the Fourth Age is essentially based on and extrapolated from the little snippet we got of that bit of the New Shadow that Tolkien wrote. It's set in the Fourth Age of Middle-earth. Aragorn and everybody we know and love has either buggered off to Valinor or are long dead. The reunited kingdom of Gondor and Arnor is having a bad time. They've lost a lot of the territory that Aragorn conquered after he became the king. And at the moment, as at the start of the game, the reunited kingdom is basically stuck in the middle of a civil war between the reunited kingdom itself and the self-proclaimed kingdom of Adunabar, which basically controls all the eastern territory of the reunited kingdom. And it might seem like a fairly straightforward civil war to begin with, but there's a whole thing whereby there's this kind of shadow cult thing going on, which has rooted itself in the kingdom of Adunabar, and there are shadow cultists everywhere, and it's not good, basically. After the end of the Third Age and with the demise of Sauron, evil doesn't coalesce anymore in Middle-earth into a single form or unifying kind of entity anymore. It's kind of spread out and more nebulous. But rest assured, the Kingdom of Adunabar are effectively the baddies. They're like evil Gondor, essentially. But, when you play as them, you get the choice to kind of lean into the evilness or away from it if you want to. You actually have a choice. It's kind of interesting. But you can really lean into it, and you can start recruiting orc units and stuff like that, trolls, all the rest of it. It's a period of time where the elves and dwarves have dwindled to the point where they've almost vanished. The dwarves are still around. They are playable. They have their own little campaign to try and retake Khazad-dûm, which canonically I think they do in the Fourth Age. And the elves are technically playable, but there's so few of them left in Middle-earth at this point that they are a very, very minor element of the whole thing. They do have their own little campaign you can play, though. It's all about men. The Fourth Age. It's called the subtitle of this mod is The Dominion of Men, because it's, you know, the age of the elves and the dwarves and whatnot has passed. It's going, it's leaving, it's saying farewell. The Middle Earth is slowly beginning its transformation into the world we know today. Because of course, Middle Earth, you know, Tolkien's setting is supposed to be a fictional prehistory of our own Earth. It's not a completely secondary existing fantasy world. So that's the general gist. So you get 3 choices of campaign here. There's also historical battles. I don't know if there's anything in here. Oh, there you go. Look, Battle of the Cloven Way, Battle of the Crossings of Poros, the Battle of the Plains of Gorgoroth, the Battle in the South Undeep. I should have known that this mod would have some historical battles thrown in there as well, because Master of None liked to do those too in his mods. He did the same with Viking Invasion as well. And these, I'm almost tempted to show you these, because I bet these probably have the full cutscene with intro voiced and everything, because the ones in Viking Invasion did. But I don't know if we really have the time today. You've got the managed campaign, and these are the factions available. You have the Reunited Kingdom. You have the Empire of Harad. You have the Kingdom of Adunabar. The Principality of Far Harad. The Principality of Harondor, lying between Gondor and Harad, claimed by both peoples. Lands of Harondor have never known much stability and peace, so on and so forth. I think that's around about where Umbar is, just down there. City Kingdom of Tharbad, Rohan, the Bjornings. You've got Dale up there in the north, and you can see they've expanded quite a bit. You've got Dorwinion, Ravanian, Rune, North Rune, Dunland, and Cand. So those are your playable factions in the managed campaign. You can also have go at non-managed campaigns. There's a Dwarven campaign, where you can play as the dwarves. They have a lot of scattered territories all over the place. And their main goal is probably going to be to retake Khazad-dûm. And there's an Elven campaign as well, where they control, again, some scattered territories. They've got, you know, the northern Greenwood. They've got the southern Greenwood. They've got this little bit down here. That's Lothlorien, isn't it? And then they've got Lindon over there on the western coast. So, yeah. And there's so few elves actually left in Middle-earth at this point that I think a large part of their roster is made up of the Elvelin, which are basically humans who, you know, live and work with the elves. The elf friends, yeah. So, yes. Yeah, the difficulty descriptions are fantastic, aren't they? We're going to go managed campaign, because today we're going to play as the Kingdom of Adunabar, the baddies. The chief principal baddies in this campaign is the Kingdom of Adunabar, and I would like to play as them. Their difficulty factor is Laughing at Life Dragons, which is the highest difficulty, which is fun. Campaign difficulties, they're all listed. They've got funny names. You've got Home in Time for Tea, Decidedly Tookish, Bull Roaring, and Laughing at Live Dragons. Recommended difficulty is Decidedly Tookish for the campaign and Bull Roaring for the battles, so we'll go with that. Huge unit size, manage all settlements and provinces, and it's the year 356 of the Fourth Age is when this starts. The Kingdom of Adunabar claims leadership of the Dunedain and all the lands in Middle-earth that were once settled by the men of Númenor. Arising in the eastern possessions of the reunited kingdom after repeated Easterling invasions strained the ability of the heirs of Elessar to defend their holdings, this new power claims followers both in the fertile plains of the Sea of Nirn and in the hills and forests of Rhudaur in the north. Already locked in a civil war with the reunited kingdom, Adunabar stands poised to sweep across the Anduin and strike at the mighty city of Minas Anor, which formerly known as Minas Tirith, formerly known as Minas Anor. It's complicated. And in the north to seize the ancient strong places of Fornost and Anuminus. In addition to claiming descent from the Númenorian kings of old, Adunabar shares many customs with its chief rival, the reunited kingdom, including a tradition of strong and well-armed soldiers, especially infantry. But among the people and leaders of Adunabar, there are followers of a dark faction known as the Shadow Cult. This movement will grow if temples to this cult are built, and access to darker forces such as orcs, trolls, and wargs made available. Or it may diminish if the ways of the West are preserved. The people of the Kingdom of Adunabar have a strong Dunedainic heritage Dunedainic, really. Heritage is what I meant to say there. But the presence of the shadow cult has driven many from the ways of its noble past. So again, it's a faction where you have a choice. I like factions with choices. What you call them? There's a lot of factions in Divide and Conquer that are like that. That can go either way, and have different things like Canned and Ered Luin in Divide and Conquer. They can go good or evil if you want them to. So that's fun, and I have to admit I like Kingdom of Adunabar as a concept. I think they're quite interesting. I have to admit I like sort of I don't know why, but in these Lord of the Rings mods I often quite like the sort of slightly fan-fiction-y factions when they're done well. You know, like in Divide and Conquer, I'm rather a big fan of Dorwinion and the Ar-Adunaim, for example. So Adunabar are great as well in that regard. So yeah, we're gonna play as them. Ar-Adunaim are your favourite guys. Ar-Adunaim are great, aren't they? Their lore is fun, but also just gameplay-wise, what a amazingly fun faction to play. So, Lyre, Summer, 4th Age, 356. 4th Age Total War. The Kingdom of Adunabar is ruled by a scion of the same blood as the King of the Reunited Kingdom. It bears the star of Erendil on its banners, looking back to the glory that once was. During the wars with the Wild Easterlings in the early years of the Fourth Age, the Reunited Kingdom suffered much loss in its eastern holdings, especially the lands of Mordor and Ravañon. When a bold leader arose and promised to restore the nobility and power of Gondor in its golden age, or Numenor at its height, many flocked to his banner. The Kingdom of Adunabar was born. War followed. Adunabar is driven by more than reverence for tradition. Its lords and people have largely fallen under the sway of the Shadow Cult, a sect of mysterious origin which offers great power to those it favours. It is under the guidance of the cult that Adunabar has made most of its recent gains, capturing all of Ithilien, fortifying Mordor, and gathering strength in the north. The cult has even struck a fatal blow to elven power by seizing Rivendell. Thus, protected against counterattack, Adunabar seems poised to drive the Reunited Kingdom from its last few strongholds in Arnor, and once these lands are in its grasp, who knows what corner of the world Adunabar will march next. So, here we are. Quite a large starting faction, is part of what makes them a little bit difficult. Also the fact that we're losing fuckloads of money right off the bat, which is always fun. So here's the wonderful world map. It is rather lovely. It's perhaps not quite as detailed and amazing as the one in Divide and Conquer, but this mod is much older than Divide and Conquer at this point, so you got to be kind to it. But it's still quite nice. It's still quite lovely. There's old Mount Doom, a Rod's Ruin, and there's lots of landmarks that you can click on, and you'll get a little pop-up about them, explaining what they are. The volcanic mountain on the plain of Gorgoroth in northern Mordor. It was here that Sauron forged the One Ring, and it was in the same fires it was unmade at the end of the War of the Ring. Orodruin, a name which means Mountain of Red Flame, stands about 4,500 feet in height. There are lots of little floating books on the campaign map. Here's one for an example. Oh, I can't click on that one. It's in the Fog of War. This one here, Amondin. And you get like a little tour guide pop up and tell you about them. The site of the first of the northern beacon towers of Gondor. This hill stands just east of the Druadan forest, and its name simply means Silent Mount. It is often simply called Din. Or Dean. I'm not sure what that accent is supposed to be pronounced as, you know. Got one over here as well. Ithilduin. After Mordor fell to the servants of Sauron, this stream was fouled by sorcery and renamed the Morgulduin. Now in the Fourth Age, it runs clean again and has reclaimed its original name. It flows through the valley in which Minas Ithil sits westward to the Anduin. I think if you also click on here, there's usually a little regional thing here as well. It gives you some gameplay info, but also tells you a bit about it. Geography. The bowl-like mountain-fenced Udun and the plateau of Gorgoroth make up this region in northwest Mordor. Make up this region. In northwest Mordor they lie, blackened by Orodruin's fume of old and scarred by what happened there at the ending of the Third Age. Little grows in this barren region. When Mordor fell back into the hands of the reunited kingdom after the fall of Sauron, much of its evil was cleansed, and in time it became a somewhat habitable place again, although more so in the region south of Gorgoroth. Old cities and strongholds were rebuilt and in many cases renamed. Mordor later became a base of operations for the Kingdom of Adunabar. The alignment of the indigenous people of northwest Mordor is strongly cultic. Their allegiance is to the Kingdom of Adunabar. On the plateau of Gorgoroth sits Mount Doom, still fuming now and again, but dormant since the end of the Third Age. Barad Eden is the settlement. And near forts, the castle of Durthang, stronghold of Cirith Gorgor, and the tower of Cirith Duath. Developers note, Barad Eden, New Tower, this place here, has been added for gameplay purposes and makes no appearance in the writings of Tolkien, though it is built where once stood Barad-dûr until its fall at the overthrow of Sauron. The stronghold of Cirith Gorgor, haunted past, represents the old fortifications once known as the Tower of the Teeth, and the Tower of Cirith Duath is the renovated Tower of Cirith Ungol, except named now after the mountains, the Efel Duath, or the Mountains of Shadow, rather than referring to a being or race, Ungol, spiders, that no longer exist. So, there you go. Full of wonderful information like that. We could sit here reading all that stuff all day. You know, I love this. It's probably one of the things I love about this mod, actually, is the attention to detail with all these things. Hello, Valon. Thanks for the 77 months. What about 77th age, indeed? Wonder, ruins of Osgiliath. The remnants of the first capital of Gondor, preserved as a memorial in the hope that future generations would not forget what evil may do when left unchecked. Increases the happiness, trade, and loyalty of all provinces owned by this faction. Who actually owns Osgiliath right now? I assume that belongs to Minas Anor, but I don't actually know for sure. So, let's have a look at... let's go diplomacy. Let's see what our situation is at the moment. We're allied with Dunland and Khand. Our enemies are the Elven Realm and the Reunited Kingdom, and the independent peoples, obviously. Which is interesting. We have no real relationship with Harondor or Harad or any of those guys, and we could very well end up at war with them. I remember the last time I played Adunabar many years ago, I ended up in a two-way war with Harondor to the south and sort of Gondor to the west. One of the wonderful things about Fourth Age is because it takes place in this more morally ambiguous setting, I want to say, where the lines between who are the good guys and who are the bad guys are a little more blurred. It provides for a bit more of a sandbox sort of experience than, say, Third Age does, where you have the good factions and the evil factions and one or two factions who can choose between. Fourth Age is a bit more sandbox-ish. You know, it's not a slave to any pre-existing lore, so you can kind of play it out any way you want and have it still make sense. You know, it's the Fourth Age. It's the Dominion of Men, and men are really good at fighting each other, as it turns out. So, however, we got some problems, man. We have got issues. Like, my goodness, we have issues. Everything over here is doing largely okay. We've got Caer Andros up here, apparently. We've got Lathron. We've got Calenhad, although Calenhad is currently, like, pretty pissed. Because the majority culture here is Ways of the West rather than Ways of the Shadow Cult. So, yeah, that's not great. Calenhad might revolt, which is a problem. Rivendell is similarly pissed. We have a fairly large army in Rivendell, actually, right off the bat. But in spite of that, the place is set to revolt against us, pretty much. It's not good. It's really kind of not good at all. You know, it's part of why this faction is rated quite hard, because it starts off in a bit of precarious position in some of these places. We've got a bunch of other towns up here in what used to be the Kingdom of Rhudaur, with quite a few units in them, probably more than we need, which is why our economy is in the toilet right now, including 3 ways down here. I think one of the first things we should probably do is try and take Sarnford. over there, and I think Fornost probably something we want to work towards getting. I don't know what to do about Rivendell is the main problem. We may just have to let the place rebel, because I don't, even when we put the income tax rate to low. Okay, that does temporarily solve the problem. Okay, that's something at least. There's a high pass stronghold there full of orcs apparently. So look at our armies. The one in Rivendell at the moment is, we've got Indilzar of the Cold Fells. He's the governor at the moment. We've got Grim Spears. We've got Swords of the Shadow, and the Adunabar roster kind of goes in two halves. You've got the Numenorian kind of human half of it, which is your standard Gondorian style soldiers, and then you've got the cult units, which includes stuff like the Grim Spears, Swords of the Shadow, the cultists, and obviously also the orcs and whatnot as well. And this army up here, as you can see, is almost completely cultic, in fact, including some Uruk swords as well, which is pretty sweet. I wonder if what his bodyguard unit is. Do you have Adunabar nobles? Okay, so you don't have the cult bodyguard. Interesting. What actual, like? Let's see. He's a man. He's a Dunedain. House of Adunakor. Under the shadow. This man is wholly under the influence of the shadow. He has performed various tasks for the cult from time to time, and is willing to accommodate any others who follow such ways. Plus 10% conversion to the ways of the shadow cult. Okay, interesting. Obviously, you've got lots of lovely role-playing information here in the stats, in the traits. This mod takes advantage of Rome Total War's lovely trait system. We've got some hill trolls up here in Ettendale. With some orc raiders and orc bands. I worry about the hill trolls because they are an amazingly powerful unit, but back in the day they used to have a bit of an issue which made them cause the game to crash to desktop a lot, and I don't know if they ever fixed that. So I'm a little worried about them. Here's some of the more traditional units we've got. The Men of the West style units, the Royal Spearmen, the Royal Longbowmen, etc. Got some Riders of Eriador as well. And then those dark swords. Yeah, the upkeep is quite high, but on the other hand, actually, the economy in this mod is actually a little bit inflated anyway, so don't let that bother you too much. But yes, the upkeep on these guys is rather extreme. I may even want to consider just disbanding all three of those units potentially. I reckon they're probably quite good though, is the thing. 12, 35 for attack and defense. I mean, yeah, they're relatively good, you know. Compared to Swords of the Shadow. Actually, they're pretty comparable to Swords of the Shadow. Swords of the Shadow are noticeably cheaper. I imagine the cult units are probably cheaper. That would make some sort of sense. Have you read any of the unofficial Lord of the Rings sequels by Nick Perrimov? Although those the really friggin' weird ones, and the guy tried to like sue somebody about it. Like he tried to sue the Tolkien estate or something. Like I think I remember hearing something about that. It's completely fucking unhinged and nutty. This has nothing to do with that, suffice to say. Hey, Rock and Stones. Let's see, diplomatic information. Shifting the balance of things, ways of the West. War and rumours of war. Okay, cool. Very nice. Right, I think, yeah, first things first. I think we want to try and take Sarnford. I don't know if this is going to be a good idea or not. Problem is, if we move any troops out of three ways, it's going to start revolting. Even if you lower the income tax to the minimum, it's what I think I need to do here is try and take Sarnford, and then actually no, I don't know if this is going to work. I was going to say try and bring these guys over here, attack Sarnford. It's got no walls, we can march straight in, and then once we've taken Sarnford, march some guys back here to stop three ways from revolting. But I don't know if we're actually going to have enough troops between us to prevent both of these towns from revolting, because public order is just abysmal. Mostly because of all this unrest, which and distance to capital, that's a big problem as well. Jesus Christ, yeah, it's a huge problem, actually. We're going to really struggle to keep hold of anything up here in Eriador, aren't we? What's got Calenhad so pissed off? I think it's the followers of the ways of the west causing unrest in this settlement. Although it's flashing out, which usually means it's going away next turn. So that might not be an issue for too much longer. We've got Minas Ithil here. We're the fairly respectable-looking army, including our faction leader, I want to say. Yeah, he's our ruler. This is our king, the king of Adunabar, Imrazor of the Tower of the Rising Moon. Let's see. He's king of Adunabar. He has the Palantir of Minas Arnor. The 7 seeing stones brought to Middle-earth, the stone of Minas Arnor is the only one of 2 that remain. Although it and the other stones were used widely in the early days of the kingdom, it was neglected after the rule of the stewards began. There were 2 reasons for this. Fear, justified in the event, that the Ithil stone had been captured following the city's sacking by the Nazgul was the first, and a general waning of interest in ancient things and times was the second. Indeed, it remained largely untouched until the ascension of the steward Denethor II, who used it to gain advantage over Mithrandir, whom he distrusted, and his captain Thorongil, whose hidden identity he rightly guessed at. The man was Aragorn, heir to the throne of Gondor. However, it took great strength to wrest control of the Palantir away from Sauron and the Ithil Stone, and as Denethor's strength eventually failed, he was convinced of Gondor's imminent downfall. He set a pyre to burn him and his son Faramir. He failed in killing his son, but succeeded in burning himself. The stone was in his hands as he burned, and it can now only be used by one who has great strength of will. Others will just see 2 aged hands withering in flame. +1 law, +1 security versus assassination attempts. Seems a bit lame, really. Adept governor, generous, combative, harsh. Adept commander, open-handed, wall-breaker, and iron-fisted. He is a man. He is a Dunedain. He is of the house of Adunakor. He's a shadow friend. He's seasoned. He's lazy, intelligent, and uncharismatic. He's a careless fighter. -2 to commander's hit points. Okay, don't let this guy get into combat too often. Unwise. Poor leader. Supplied. Okay, well, he's not much of a leader, is he, apparently? Goodness me. And in his retinue, we have Heramor the Lord Black. Heramor the Lord Black, he is known as in this age, but few know his real history, and none know his real name. For he was the lieutenant of the Tower of Barad-dûr, the herald and ambassador of the Dark Lord, the mouth of Sauron. He is the race of those who are named the Black Númenóreans, and entered the service of the Dark Tower when it first arose again. And because of his cunning, he grew ever higher in the Lord's favour. He learned great sorcery, and knew much of the mind of Sauron, and he was more cruel than any orc. After the fall of his master, he fled the forces of the west, and eventually made his way to the city of Umbar, where he boarded a ship headed even further south. There he plotted his return and his revenge, and so, in the year 121 of the Fourth Age, he again returned to Umbar, now in the guise of Heramor. Who now knows how much of the evil and misfortune that has plagued Middle-earth in these recent years are his doing? The fall of Umbar to the Haradrians? Certainly. The Corsair invasion? Most probably. The rise of the Shadow Cult in the lands of Gondor and the rebellion of Amandil? Undoubtedly. He is the real force behind the kingdom of Adunabar, and none can escape his evil influence. Plus 50% conversion to the ways of the Shadow Cult, -3 command, 20% increase to cost to bribe. Yeah, there he is, the old mouth of Sauron. Under a new name, still being a dick. Right. Calenhad, I have no idea what I'm going to do about you. Let's see. Let's head north and see if we can try and salvage something up here. There's some buildings we can build. Like the consultation, for example, public order modified due to law. It was 1 season, costs you 980 Mirian. I think it's like the first step of setting up a proper government or whatever. So I'm thinking that's probably a good way to go if you want to go about slowly trying to fix the public order around here. Probably want to be building this in as many places as possible. We start off with a huge pile of money, 37,000. But there's a lot of very expensive buildings in this game, so you know. Land clearance trader. Okay, I can't really build anything there that would help public order. What about this place? Again, no, not really. What about three ways? Construction charter. It's probably a prerequisite building or something else. There we go. Consultation. Let's go with that. I feel like taking Fornost would be a really grand idea if we can somehow marshal enough forces to do it without destroying public order.
Yes, Captain. Sir. Yes, Captain.
Do they have any kind of character governor type dude up there? We've got Gildor of the Edge of the Wild. Poor governor and poor commander. Oh dear. Not really the man of the hour. We've got Indilzar of the Coldfells here. He is a competent commander and a competent governor. However, I think we need him there keeping order, really. I think these are our only two characters we've got to work with up here, so I think it falls upon Gildor, in spite of how largely useless he is. Damn it. Okay, we can't pull you guys out there without the place losing its mind. Alright, let's move you up here so you can meet up with the guys here in Towerdal. And in Ettendale, let's grab the orcs and the trolls. And of course, you're not going to be happy about that. Orc Raiders and Orc Band, which are the rubbishest? The Orc Raiders are rubbish, so... Come on, guys, really. Finally, there we go. Okay, so I guess we're taking the Trolls and the Orc Band with us. And this army is more or less going to be end up staying right here in Rivendell, because I think if I move any of these guys out, public order is going to become unmanageable. Land clearance. That would go some way to getting us a little bit of extra money, but not a ton of it really. And also it'd actually make mismanagement go up, so I'd gonna earn virtually nothing extra from that. Let's hop on down to here and see what's cooking down in this sort of part of the neighborhood. Again, a lot of these, lots of economic buildings that seem to get you very little. Bit of a hallmark of Medieval 2 and Rome 1, frankly. Oh, down here in Mordor we could build some special things like orc pits and beast trackers, which is something worth considering. Because orcs are, you know, they're rubbish, but they're also really cheap. Let's see, Tower of Cirith Dúath. We can build orc pits here, and I'm going to do that. Barad Eden. What can we build here? Construction charter, temples of the shadow, herbalist, hall of banquets, major province, yard of fountains, a library. That's 16 grand. There's another special building you could build here somewhere. I think it's in Minas Ithil. The Tower of the Moon. Here we go. Public order modified due to law 10%. Effects increases law throughout the faction's lands. We get a law bonus in every single city on the map if you build this thing. Unfortunately, it does cost 50,000 Miriam. So, and 20 turns to build as well. Actually, no, that's not really correct. It actually says 40 seasons here. So, yeah. I assume the info in the pop-up here is in the tooltip is more accurate than what's up here, because it's different. I think the tooltip is usually the more accurate one. But anyway, yeah, I can't really build that right now. We don't have that kind of money. Well, it's a total war game, especially one of the early total war games. So really, the best thing to do to get more money is to just go out there and fucking conquer something. Start taking towns. That's kind of the way it goes. We have a spy here. I'm going to move you down this way because I think there might be some stuff down here we could work with. Although, hello, this is actually Harondor's territory. Harondor, hello, gentlemen. Would you like some trade rights? Would you like map info? Brilliant. Okay, we've made contact with Harondor and we're trading with them. You can keep moving south, so if you can make it all the way to actual Harad. There we go. Okay.
At your service.
This is a Gondorian scout, isn't it? Yeah. What could we try and take? We've got Emin Arnin. The next city along here really effectively is Minas Arnor itself, which Anardil Tel Kontar, I guess that's the king. Pretty decent troops as well. Company of the Guard, defense 48, attack 17. My goodness, that's very elite. They've got some catapults as well. What have we got? We've got the Shadow Guard, Horsemen of the Shades. We've got Sword of the Shadow, Dark Bows, Grim Spears. Nothing to really compete, unfortunately. Balkumagan of the Black Land. You've got Spears of the Shadow here. They're pretty good. And Swords of the Shadow. Can we move them out without... Oh, for goodness sake. Let's move you up here. What do we got here? Black Shields. The Kingdom of Adunabar seized power in the eastern reaches of the Reunited Kingdom. The civil war that followed was long and bloody, and Minas Ithil was hard beset by forces from Gondor. Adunabar's army was shattered before its gates, and reinforcements were delayed. When it finally arrived, the reinforcing army was amazed to discover that the stronghold had not fallen, and the besieged forces had managed to fight the army of the Reunited Kingdom to a standstill. The Black Shields traced their order back to this event, and to the hard cadre of veteran soldiers who held Minas Ithil against the might of the West. Some of the staunchest troops available to the Kingdom of Adunabar, they bear large, strong shields into battle with no insignia, and wear armour that is similarly black. Well trained in the defence of cities and fortified places, the Black Shields are also very capable soldiers of the line, able to anchor the flanks of a battle formation thanks to the might of their shield arms, or take the fight to the enemy with their swords, breaking up ranks of spearmen or other infantry. To whatever use they are put, a commander can be confident in the performance of these proud men. Alright, cool. We can combine most of what's in Emin Arnin with what we've got at Minas Ithil. That's almost a full stack, really. And I would wager that it... Okay. Yeah, so I was going to get to this at some point. I was hoping it wouldn't come up, but the problem with 4th Age Total War is that it's unstable as heck. Mostly because it runs on the old Rome Total War engine and not on the remaster. And unfortunately, as a result, this happens a lot. I didn't expect it to happen this soon, though, I must admit. It never crashed this soon back in the day. Oh dear. Well. One moment, folks. Let's try that again, shall we? No, this is not a Medieval 2 mod, real Nashty. It's a Rome Total War mod. Is there absolutely nothing that can be done? No, the mod is just unstable as shit, I'm afraid. Unless somebody ports it over to the remaster, there is pretty much nothing that can be done about it, I think. There we go. Did I even make a save there? I didn't, did I? Bollocks. Alright, we didn't actually do much. I was sitting around talking for so long that we really didn't get anything done, so... Set that to bull roaring, and off we go again. And I'll just have to remember to hit Control S very frequently. Total War mods crashing, unacceptable. It's weird. This used to be happening all the time. You know, we've been a bit spoiled these days when it comes to Total War mods and their stability. Honestly. Alright, let's run around, quickly do a little bit of a scan here and see where we can figure out, you know. Like, see, we've got these guys here. You know, can we get rid of you? Can we? I don't know if I'll be able to get rid of you without the place revolting. But that's one expensive unit ditched. I don't want to disband like everything here because, you know, there is obviously the chance that like Rune or Kand or someone might decide to actually attack us from the east. But Lon Nurnen, who can we dump back in Lon Nurnen? I suppose the horsemen? Bollocks. Can we recruit any mercenaries? Blackland mercenaries. Axes of the Shadow. I need you guys. I want to go and take Amru and Magor here. But as usual, I ain't got the resources to do it. Very frustrating. It's a very frustrating thing about the beginning of the... Oh, hang on a minute. That tax rate probably had something to do with it. There we go, that's better. Oh, what an idiot. Oops. Alright, we can't start marching this way. Of course, the garrison of this place is a little bit larger than our army, but maybe we can beat them because these are relatively elite units here. Meanwhile, over here... Actually, we need to lower this, don't we? Because what I'm about to do is... move these guys out to Minas Ithil. I didn't actually mean to... Oh, crap. Oops. Oopsie daisy. Can I send some Grimspears back there to keep order in the meantime? Yeah, there we go. Give me a card of Emin Arnen. Inept governor, inept commander. Oh, isn't that lovely? Right, what else did we do? Let's do a little save. You. Where was this city? Hold on, I'm going to cheat slightly. I want to see where that city is. It's just up there, okay. Don't mind me. Alright, gentlemen. Trade rights. Map info. Lovely. Economy's still very much in the toilet, although we do have a big reserve to burn through at the very least. I'm going to start building these public order buildings where I can, although I also kind of want the Orc Pit. Although, honestly, we have other concerns right now. Kirith Gorgor. Austin Agalad. Lathron. Oh yes, Calenhad is all pissed, isn't it? And then we find ourselves up here. I'm trying to keep this under control. Alright. You.
Yes, Captain. Yes, Captain. Onward.
If we set that to low, will it be okay? No, of course it won't.
Yes, Captain. Sir, move out.
Move you out there. And I believe last time we managed to get away with basically just an orc band and the trolls, and everyone else had to stay behind, didn't they? Move those guys there to save the game. We're in 3 ways. I'd really like to try and take Sarn Ford, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get away with it without revolts happening and whatnot. Can we build anything in 3 ways that would help with that? Yeah, we can. We can build a consultation. Right. Okay. If I recall the way, based on the way this usually used to go in the past.
My way. On my way.
I think Rohan will probably declare war on us fairly soon, and they will attack Calenhad. I might be wrong though. I don't remember. It's been a while. I don't know what Sandford's got garrison-wise.
Yes, master.
Sir! Captain!
And you just, from what you understand, you kind of want to save every 3 minutes when playing this mod. Yeah, kind of. I think when it truly gets frustrating is, unfortunately, when it crashes during a battle, meaning you have to do the battle again from the start. That does happen sometimes, and that is extremely annoying. That's kind of why I stopped playing this mod eventually after a while. I love it to death, but I wasn't able to put up with that. It really ran down my patience after a bit, and it's why, again, as I keep saying, I'm just desperately hoping someone will port this to the remaster. So that we can finally fix these crashes and stuff. Because it's just bloody annoying otherwise. Right, I'm going to keep building these buildings wherever I can to try and get public order a little bit more under control. We have so much unrest, it's insane. Reminds me of playing as the Romans in Barbarian Invasion, this. Everywhere is unhappy. Everybody wants us dead. But nobody ever said being evil would be easy. So we're just going to have to live with it. Governor's alignment differs from province's official alignment. That doesn't help either, admittedly. What is the official province of religion, then? Crows of the Shadow. I mean, we have a shadow cult thing there. Is this guy not a shadow cult guy? Here gone. My man, are you not a shadow cultist? Patron of the West. Ah. That'd explain it.
Sir!
How about I move you out of Lathron?
Captain!
I'll send you somewhere else.
Not possible, sir!
You can start making your way across the Dead Marches at the moment. Oh, we've got Royal Spearmen and Royal Longbowmen in Lathron for some reason. They're just gonna sit there eating up tons of money.
Captain! Sir!
Fuck it. Goodbye. Lathron may just straight up rebel, to be honest, actually, in which case, honestly, c'est la vie. If we lose Lathron, we're gonna lose it. I mean, frankly, the you know, Rohan might take it anyway. So okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hit and turn now. We're how long into the stream and I finally hit and turn? I don't know. Hello, Tharbad. Sure. Trade rights is good. Candidate for adoption. No, I don't need even more. Even more wages to pay. Right, Rohan and Harad are at war with them, each other for some reason. And Rohan's now at war with us as well. Okay. Agent chased out of our settlement. Strongest kingdom. Largest kingdom. And we're hemorrhaging money like it's going out of style. At least we're kind of slowly fixing public order a little bit. Administrative policy, financial policy, military policy. These all give us modifiers due to law. What else gives us like public order bonuses here? Hall of Banquets, that gives us a little bit. Takes you 3 seasons to build though. The library gives you a bit as well. Yard of Fountains gives you a little bit. Ariad or Outlands. That's a long-term thing to work towards. It's 19 seasons to build that. Administrative policy encourages the development of refined living in the settlement, whether it means providing expensive gardens. This seems like the public order route, then, by the sounds of it. More content populace, yes. Financial and military, they're probably self-explanatory, really. I think they'll go admin policy for Rivendell. Try and keep the bloody place under control. Can we move out some of these guys now, do you think?
Captain.
Yes, we can. Alright, cool. Slowly gathering our forces together up here. Hello, Scout of the Reunited Kingdom.
Yes, Captain.
How you doing? Alright, we're starting to slowly put an army together here. Although, the Reunited Kingdom is actually going after Fornos themselves. You know what? Have fun trying to take Fornos with that tiny army. If you'd manage to do it, I'll happily take it straight back off you, frankly. I mean, you know... it's, Ooh, control posts. It just gives you recruitment. Animal husbandry and fishing rights, construction charter, town councils. Grows of the Shadow. These are like opposite things. This is if you want to go Ways of the West. This is when you want to go Cult of the Shadow. Personally, I'd like to go Cult of the Shadow. I might as well embrace the fact that we're the baddies, if you ask me. Also a herbalist. All the banquets. I'm thinking admin policy as well, because this place is a bit... Everything up here is really just like struggling in the public order department, really. I mean... Open policy. Only available to the chief cities of Middle-earth. Open policy allows for the construction of all possible buildings. Oh, I see. Okay, well, yeah, I'll go for that then, definitely. In Old Lastbridge. Oh, Lathron has managed to riot itself into contentment for a little while. Interesting. It's no longer in the red, public order-wise. Fascinating. Alright, you don't necessarily know if it's a great idea, but I think we should sally forth and, yes, the Thilduin, right, pump up the tax rate there a little bit, why not? Let's have you guys march over here to the river crossing, and how many of these can we get out there? Okay, plenty. You guys go meet up there. That's almost an army. By golly. It's by Jove, by golly. I wanted to say both at the same time, we ended up with by jolly. Mercenary Gondorian swordsman. Nah, I think we're good without those. Where was I sending you? You're going to Harad, aren't you? Oh, hello, Mr. Dude from Harad. How you doing? Trade rights, please. Map info? Excellent. I guess head this way maybe and go. Well, there's Far Harad all the way down at the bottom, isn't there? We could talk to, I suppose. Except you're blocked at the moment because Lieutenant Muntasir at the moment is standing on this river crossing. Pay cuts around here. I know, mine is 8 grand at the moment. It's not crazy. It's just really not good. But I'm looking around and I'm just thinking to myself, where can we even make pay cuts? Like where? I guess we don't necessarily need these Spears of the Shadow. We can get rid of you guys. I think it's a total war game though, so to a certain point I think the best thing to do is probably just to conquer. Go forth and conquer shit. You know? Healing, Lord's Barracks. requires open or military policy. Oh, okay. It's just called High Temple of the Shadow. Yard of Fountains, City Development. Ooh. 2 seasons, 5,000 what's doodles, and it gives you 10% bonus due to happiness. Let's have that then, shall we? We build a Barady Den. I'm surprised this place isn't a major settlement or whatever. But whatever. I'm gonna go try and go financial policy for this one. I mean, open policy for this place. Yep, absolutely. And Calenhad is no longer pissed. Well, no longer quite so pissed. Admin policy for you boys. Although, you are... Yeah, I think Calenhad is going to be attacked by Rohan extremely soon. So... I don't know whether it's worth even investing anything in the place, frankly. Right. You guys have got a bit of a march ahead of you, haven't you? To get to Fornost. But get there we will. Is there any particularly expensive units here we've got? Wow, yeah, look at that. Look how cheap orcs are. Oh my goodness me, the Shadow Riders, 810 upkeep. But they're also incredibly good, and like I don't think I can recruit any more of them for a little while until I get much higher level barracks and stuff. So they're probably the only unit of Shadow Riders I've got in the entirety of the Northern Middle Earth at the moment. So maybe it's a bad idea to get rid of them. In fact, arguably, if I can get them out of Rivendell without the place throwing a tantrum, I'd do it. Actually make use of them if we're going to be paying for them. Do we need to repair anything in these towns that we're rioting? No. We can retrain those guys and that's it. Alrighty then, very well. In turn. Oh. I forgot to move you guys. And you. Spooky melty purple tree on the shields. Well, you know, it's referencing the what Tolkien actually wrote about with the dark tree and whatnot. I'm pretty sure that's in the manuscript he wrote about the tree, and you know, thematically also it's a very appropriate contrast to the Reunited Kingdom's white tree. So, I guess you might feel it's fanfiction-y. I would personally respectfully disagree. Actually, I think it works quite well. Right. I don't know how they... I mean, I guess they reckon maybe they can win because they've got more elite troops than us, but it's a river crossing battle. I suppose they do have those catapults I should probably watch out for. I just don't think it's a river crossing battle. I'm pretty sure this is a river crossing here at Osgiliath, so... Oh well, give it a go.
We're watching you, scum.
You're back, what have you missed? I had to redo my first turn because the game crashed, JP. So far, not much. Right, we've got these good old original Rome Total War camera controls to contend with, which is going to be fun. Here's our army, such as it is. Also, the frame rate is kind of trash because Rome Total War, old school Rome Total War, does not run very well on modern systems. Don't know why. Blame Microsoft probably is the answer. But here's all our troops. We've got the Adunabar nobles. That's you guys now. It's the bodyguard units. We've got the catapults, which are manned by cultists, which I kind of like. Got our dark bows. We've got swords of the shadow. plenty of you guys. Spears of the Shadow as well. You'll notice just by looking at the units that the 4th Age mod is very much book inspired. They didn't use anything from the movies with this mod. I think I remember Master of None back when he made this mod being quite emphatic on that point. He wanted it to be entirely book inspired rather than movie inspired, and that's why, you know, a lot of the units look the way they do, with that kind of early medieval sort of look about them. No plate mail armor, basically, in this mod. Right, let's see. How do we want to do this then? Let's got our old black shields here, and they can indeed shield wall. I reckon maybe we'll stick you guys at the front. What else we got? We've got our regular sword dudes. We've got spearmen as well. Can you guys do any kind of shield wall-y thing? No, you can't. Who else have we got to play with? We've got some cavalry. You're probably not going to be super useful today. We've got the catapults. We've got Shadow Guard and, of course, the nobles. And we've got a shitload of archers. Oh, and another unit of swordsmen as well. Alright, I'm thinking... Let's put you guys over there or something, I suppose. We're deployed as far forward as we can really get. We'll kind of move up, try and secure the bridgehead. Give the catapults an opportunity to chuck some big flaming rocks at the enemy as they try to cross. And hopefully, this will be a massacre for the enemy. Minas Tirith is probably... sorry, Minas Arnor, rather, is over there somewhere, isn't it? Judging by the landscape. There's something about the landscape in Rome Total War that is just... The way it's generated based on the campaign map, that's really excellent. Medieval 2 technically does it as well, but it never seems quite as representative in Medieval 2 for some reason. Like, you can see clear campaign map landmarks in Rome in a way that I feel sometimes you can't in Medieval 2. Like, you can see the pass of, you know, that's the Morgul Vale up there quite clearly. This is all Ithilien. Where we're standing right now is where Osgiliath would be, but sadly there's no custom model for it. And over there is Minas Arnor. So, that I do like that about it, you know. Rome Total War was pretty amazing like that. I mean, I remember even stuff like if you had a fleet nearby, you know, off the coast of where your battle was taking place, you'd be able to see little ships out to sea. That was great. Anyway, I'm thinking this is largely okay the way we've got it set up now. Let's just get the cavalry all lined up at the back. They're probably not going to play a huge part in this battle, but you never know. Alright. Let's move you guys up there. Quickly run up there to secure it. I think the way this is going to work is I'm going to make a bit of room. Like so. Move the catapults up a little bit. Get the bowmen in range to start doing some shooting. Chief problem we have, I suppose, is their catapults, honestly. Them I am worried about. Where are their best units? The Company of the Guard? Those lads. Those ones we really need to be worried about. Can we get some counter battery fire maybe on their catapults? I bet it won't be very effective, but we can give it a try. I mean, unless... How much kind of range do you guys have? I suppose we could try and get some of the archers close enough to... Ooh, boy. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's not really going to work, is it? Well, I am worried a little bit about flinging a flaming rock into the back of our black shields. Can you guys just about... Yes, you can just about shoot their catapult crew from here. Excellent. Do it then. Woof, splat. There we go. Got some of them. Alright, do your thing, Black Shields. Hold the line. Ooh, did we get anyone? Looks like we did, yes. There's a lot of corpses floating away down the river there. There's another little feature of this game I always used to love. Can you aim very specifically at the Gondorian horsemen? That'll get you pretty much right on target, I think, for where we want to be. And you guys, can have you go and spread out a little bit. How are we doing over here? You guys, their crews are spread out. We are still shooting them though. It's just not doing enough damage, is it really? Come on, catapults. Oh, slightly long. Unfortunate. Move. Just run around and try and distract the crews a little bit. Oh, oh, oh! Splat! We might end up killing the king of the reunited kingdom with a catapult in Total War stream tradition. I actually hope that happens. Oh, splat. There goes some more. Oh, there he goes! We got him! Ladies and gentlemen, oh, it's just Lieutenant Anborn. Did they not bring the king with them? I don't think they brought the king with them. Those are not bodyguard cavalry, are they? They're just horsemen. Ah, never mind, got my hopes up. I guess their king was smarter than that. They're taking casualties on account of their damn catapults, but at least the AI hasn't been smart enough to use the flaming catapult shots, so as a result, we're not taking nearly as much damage as we would have. Chief tough cookies to crack in here are going to be these guys, lads with the winged helmets here, the King's Spearmen and the other lads, the company of the guard there, those guys. They have extremely good stats. Keep pelting them with. Oh my god, that one went quite short, but it was a good thing it did land quite short actually. This whole chunk of them just removed there. It reminds me of, it's beautiful, isn't it? Rome 1 catapults. They're a thing of magnificence. It's like the Greek fire throwers in Medieval 2. Oh, just unit deleters. Oh baby! Oh, did you see that? Oh my god, yeah, that's caused a rout. That's caused a rout. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Right. You can cease fire now. I do believe the king and his nobles want to go and do a bit of running down of the enemy. Although actually, some of them have stuck around to fight. Now, I haven't all routed. Some of the King's Spearmen are still here, so actually, hold on, hold your horses, literally. When you're running into them. Yep, now they're running. Okay, there we go. Now you can go. You guys march back over there. Your job is done. Dark bows. Ceasefire. My dark bow is really not on. Oh, they have been on fire at will. Okay, good. The cavalry have a very vanilla Rome Total War feel in this mod. They're very, very fast. They don't have quite such a devastating charge, though. Oh, and this is classic, like, trying to run down the enemy, not really doing a very good job. This is one of the big things I remember people complained about loads when Rome Total War originally came out. people hated the unit pathfinding and how this sort of thing would happen, where you try and get a unit to chase down fleeing enemies, and they just do this weird thing where they run alongside next to them, escorting them. Because that didn't really happen in Medieval 1 and Shogun 1. The unit pathfinding in many ways was much better in those games. Clear victory. We took nearly 300 casualties, but under the circumstances, I guess we can wear that. Any healed? A handful healed. Who took the most casualties? It's quite evenly spread out, actually. Dark Swords took quite a lot, I guess from enemy archers and the catapults. And let me guess, it's crashed. Yes, it's crashed. This is why I stopped playing this mod. Because this constantly happens. Hello again. You know what, I think we're done. I mean, it's 7:05. It's a bit earlier than we would normally stop streaming, but I think I will continue streaming for a little bit longer tonight, but I'm not. I think that's all for 4th Age. This would get old fast for you. Yeah, it did for me as well. That's why I stopped playing 4th Age back last time. Whatever the latest version of it is unfortunately very unstable. Thanks for showing the mod at least. Yeah, I mean this is, I think it's a rather significant piece of Total War modding history. I think for me is 4th Age Total War. It's one of the oldest sort of really big ambitious total conversion mods out there that was made back in the day, and by a very famous mod developer as well. So I definitely wanted to show it off as part of this series. It's not necessarily, as you've seen though, in an amazingly playable state, and I don't know how much of that is due to the mod's fault and how much of that is due to the fact that just old Rome Total War these days is a disaster to run on modern systems. The frame rate is poor, and I think probably the game is extra unstable as well as a result. If we take nothing else away from this, take simply a plea to somebody out there in the Total War modding community who is able to do it. Somebody, please, for the love of God, consider porting this mod to the remaster. I'm sure it'd be a ton of work, and I know it's easy for me to sit here and say, "You there, somebody, mod man, go do this for me," and rather than doing it my damn self. But if 4th Age was ported to the remaster, and the bugs and things were cleaned up, if indeed there are that many bugs, and it's not just old Rome Total War itself being unstable, it would be just such an amazing mod to play again. But yeah, I don't know how easy it would actually be, really, honestly. So in many ways, I think it might actually be easier to just make a goddamn divide and conquer submod based on 4th Age instead. Actually, call it 4th Age 2 or something. Probably get more people playing it that way, actually, if you did that. But anyway. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching this on YouTube, bit of a shorter one than usual. It's most of my mod showcases I do for the Total War series are, big thumbs up, you should go play this recommendations. This one, maybe not so much. I wanted to show it to you because I felt like I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't, but it is not in a very playable state these days, unfortunately. Maybe one day it will be. I really do hope it is. Because there's a lot of old Rome Total War mods, like classic Rome Total War mods, that haven't been ported across yet. Invasion Barbarorum is a big one. Some of you will remember our Invasion Barbarorum series from back in the day on the channel, very long time ago. That hasn't been ported over to the remaster yet. Neither has Rise of Persia. Rise of Persia is another was a famous mod for Rome back in its day. Most people probably don't remember it nowadays, but Rise of Persia was another one that's not been ported across yet either. So yeah, but old classic Rome mods are being ported over to remastered all the time these days. Europa Barbarum's on there, Chivalry's on there, Aristea got ported over recently, Viking Invasion and Norman Invasion have been ported over. Hopefully at some point someone will get around to it as a result, because people are still porting these amazing old mods across. which is great to see. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. If you've been watching on YouTube, thanks very much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed a little sneak peek at this one. I wish it had been a bit more stable than it was, because Fourth Age Total War is just... it's painful. It's painful because it's such a good mod, and yet it is so completely unstable. For a long time, I've actually... I'll level with you. Here's a little confession. For a long time, I've actually wanted to do a Let's Play of Fourth Age Total War. I really, really, for a long time, wanted to do a Let's Play of Fourth Age as the Kingdom of Adunabar. With like doing my full narrative storytelling thing with it. I was going to get my Tolkien on, and I was going to do a whole playthrough of Adunabar in the Fourth Age. But this was like this was maybe 3-4 years ago. I was planning to try and do this. I downloaded the mod, I installed it, and I discovered, like we did today, oh my god, it's unstable as hell. There's no way I can do a series of this. It's just impossible. So, yeah, never mind. One day, maybe. Maybe. In the meantime, though, of course, you've got plenty of Divide and Conquer to be getting on with, I suppose. If you need your Lord of the Rings fix, my god, have you got an amazing mod to do it with these days. Yeah. Folks, it's been fun. I'll catch you next time if you've been watching on YouTube.